Yeah.
Hey, Amina, how are you?
Hey, good morning. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Okay, good
Now I
morning.
can see you. How are you?
Great. Thank you very much for meeting with me today.
No problem. So my understanding is you're thinking about farming a neighborhood?
Yes, and I do understand that that takes time, it takes money. I
Yep.
just want to learn more about it from your perspective because Megan said that you understand how to look into neighborhoods that have high turnover
Yeah.
as far as the
So
numbers.
yeah, so a lot of times the first place I start looking is where do you live?
Okay.
Obviously you love and believe in your neighborhood or you wouldn't live there.
Right.
So, and then we can use that to sort of teach you the formula and the way to look at things.
Okay.
So where do you live? What's your subdivision?
Um, the the side of town is called Fruit Cove and the subdivision is Mill Creek, excuse me.
Are there many houses in there?
It is very small in here.
Okay. Um,
Yep, that's the one, Mill Creek.
this one is
Yeah.
probably it.
hmm
Let me make sure they don't have one where they ran it together. No, they don't. Okay. So I just want to, what I'm doing, I'll show you the formula when I go through here. What is the age of the houses in there?
About 12 years old.
Okay. That's probably a good spot to be based on that. Okay, so can you see my screen here?
Yes.
So what I did real quick there was I did sold houses in the past year in Mill Creek. And it came up with this 24 houses sold in the past year in your subdivision. Let me just make sure. Is your zip code 32211?
No, it's 32259.
Darn it. Okay. I
Yeah,
was worried that was going to happen.
when I saw
Let me
24 houses sold in this little neighborhood, I was like, what?
Yeah, at first I thought we were cooking with gas. And then as soon as I saw that, I knew that there's a Mill Creek in Arlington. That's why that happened. So in your neighborhood, there have been 3 closings in the last year. The one on Tate, Crown Wheel, and Ritburn that
So
show up.
okay, so this is from February of last year till February now, or this is just 2021?
It should be February of last year till now. Let me take a quick peek here.
Because I
2/5
don't,
2020. But your house didn't show up in here, did it?
right.
Okay. So we're going to end up doing this a different way. Because it might have something to do. It has something to do with how people are doing the okay. Something to do with how they're putting in this subdivision name. Some of them might not be right. And some of that, in other words, there might be a different name that goes along with yours. So we're going to ditch that idea.
Okay.
We'll start over here. It gets sort of tough at that point. The best thing is if it's your neighborhood, because generally you'll do it by neighborhood. Now there's a secondary thing that we can do. Here's what we'll do. Down here, you see the little pen,
Yes.
this little red pin.
Yeah.
So what's your address?
180 Crown Wheel.
Is that 2 words?
Yes.
I figured it was. And
Circle.
And I should be able to find it here, 32259. You usually don't have to get super detailed. Boom, okay. Okay. So yeah, it is a small neighborhood. It's just in Bedstone and then this circle around here, right?
That's correct. Mhm.
Okay. So we may want to try something else. There are some things here. So I'm going to switch it to sold, and I'm going to switch it to the past year. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to look at some of the neighborhoods that are around here. Because essentially you got to have your neighborhood and some other neighborhoods, because your neighborhood doesn't give enough to tell us what we need to know. I'm going to throw do I want to throw a zip code in here? Let me look and see what happens if I throw a zip code in here. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so now, so that's the zip code. We probably need to narrow it down to closer to your neighborhood, which I'm going to do here. This over here has the looks of new construction. Is there new construction? Yeah, off Longleaf Pine.
Yes.
Okay. Huh. I'm trying to look to see. So basically what I'm saying, we don't want to include this.
Right.
Because then you're fighting against a builder and everybody just moved in there. So it'll look like there's a crazy good turnover rate when in reality, there's not. It's just people buying new houses, and that won't help you. I wonder if any of these over here, let's see if it'll show me this. Yeah, see, that's new construction too. We want to avoid new construction. And I always look to people's neighborhoods first. Okay, off Greenbrier. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to eliminate new Ooh, I don't want to do that because then I won't know where it's at. I was going to eliminate new construction, but then I could accidentally end up with it in there and not know. Okay, this one's a hard one. It's a hard one because, man, I'm not even sure if this is going to turn out to be a good idea at all for your area. Because we really don't want to get mixed up with these guys over here and here. Those are two new communities. So we're going to want to stay left of Roberts Road and to the left of Longleaf Pine and probably to the north of Greenbrier. Let me try it. And I think the window I'm about to put is going to be too big. Whatever this is over here might not be bad. What is this? No photo. Sure looks like new construction. Let's look at this. Dagnabbit. Darn it. All this stuff is new construction. Okay, here's an idea. Let me look and see what this is. I'm guessing these are going to be, nope. This one was built in 2010, Winchester. Okay. Winchester. Okay. I wonder, I want to check something out. I want to see if there's a place where people have maybe a place that would often have a lot of turnover will be like a townhome community or a condo community where they're likely first-time home buyers, but then they're going to move up or whatever that is. I'm going to do a little check to see if any of that exists near you. So for townhouses, a lot of these are townhouses, but they're going to be this, it's going to be this new construction community and then something down there. Let's make sure that that's the case, but I bet you all these are new construction. And I hope that I'm wrong. Oh, looks like I'm wrong. Oh, I know Southern Creek well. This community, the fourth property I ever sold in my life was in Southern Creek. So that could be good. So the first one is crossings at Cypress Trace. So I'm going to put these in a list. So what I'm thinking that you might do is go after this type of a complex and learn and know everything about that kind of complex. You see what I mean? I'm going to put in here what their subdivision. Okay. Move this window, save. Okay, and then I'm going to put these in order and see how many subdivisions we have here, and then see which ones you might want to choose. So like this one, we don't want this subdivision because it's in Beach Walk. That new construction thing over there, that new community, you wouldn't want that. So these were built in 2007. Aberdeen is the legal name, but this little development is Stonehaven that's inside there. Let me write that down.
Okay.
That one's a possible, that community would be a possibility. This is the same street, so it's the same community.
So you're saying Stonehaven is inside of what?
It's inside of Aberdeen. You know, like Aberdeen is that big giant planned unit development, but Stonehaven is a little pocket with a whole bunch of townhomes in it. So Stonehaven is what we would want to look at. Same with Southern Creek. This is Southern Creek. This is Southern Creek. This is Southern Creek. Southern Creek looks like a really good idea, because see how many of them there are. That means homes in there are turning over. So at face value, Southern Creek seems, every one of these is Southern Creek. I think this won't be. No, it still is. This won't be. Nope, still is. So almost all these, there's one that's Southbridge. I'm going to look into that. So the first thing I'm going to run on is Southern Creek. I just see that there's a lot of turnover in there. Let's see what Redwood is. Riverside, and then Southbridge. So far, Southern Creek and Southbridge seem somewhat interesting. It's Riverside. Riverside is starting to seem interesting. I'm going to do So I'm going to jump over to do two things. And I'll explain it to you afterward.
Okay.
So well, I'll explain it to you now. So what EDDM is, so this website that I'm going to go to is EDDM. That stands for Every Door Direct Mail. So it's eddm.usps.com. So it's the United States Postal Service. So if you go to that website and then you put in a zip code, what happens is it brings you to that zip code. So what this allows you to do, this Every Door Direct, is pick a mail route. So every mailman has a route that they do.
Okay.
So this is a way to do, and it may or may not work for you, but it's a way to do postage very inexpensively. So normally when you do postage and send out postcards, it's 55 cents per card. If you use EDDM, like you just use a whole post route, it's usually about 5 or 6 cents a card. So you can imagine on 100 cards, 50 cents a pop, that's $250 that you could potentially save. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to zoom in on what could potentially be. So this is going to be off Racetrack Road. What we're going to end up looking at, it's up this way. Okay, let me zoom in here. So I know this place really well. So this is Southern Creek, this route.
Yeah.
Part of what I don't like about it is it has some weird stuff along here.
Yeah, I see that it's more than just Southern Creek.
Yeah. So if I click on it, it gives you 796 addresses. I'm going to pull up and find out how many units there are in Southern Creek. And we'll see how, so essentially what I'll be doing is see how many addresses aren't actually Southern Creek. They're just part of that mail route. So let me do that real quick.
Okay, I'm trying to pay attention also to how you look and see.
Yeah, so what I'm using is the MMT tax. It's the tax lookup system from MLS. Also, I'm recording this, so you're going to get to go back and look at this.
Wonderful, thank you.
We can post it somewhere and you can take a peek.
Great.
So if you go to the menu and you scroll through here, you'll find a part somewhere in here, right here. It says taxes, MMT tax. If you click the star next to it, it'll put it up here on this bar for you.
Okay.
You see what I mean? So, so I went there and I'm going to look up property owners. So it'll pull up a window where I can do a big giant search. The place where people get messed up or confused in here sometimes is you got to make sure you pick the right county. That's St. Johns County. So up here at the top, you have to pick the right county.
Okay.
After that, this thing works really good because all you have to do where it says subdivision is type in. As soon as you type in Southern, it finds the subdivisions for you. So Southern Creek. So this search is going to show me every address in Southern Creek.
Great.
So when I do a search for it, it says there's 369 properties in there. So Every Door Direct may or may not be the best way to do this. So typically, here's what we'll look at. If there's 369 properties in there, we want it to be the closer to 10% turnover it is, the better it is for you.
Okay.
So we're going to go back and we're going to do a search for sold properties in the past year in Southern Creek. So in the past year, sold properties, and then under a subdivision, we're going to do Southern Creek. So that number is not actually great. So 18 sold, and they have 369, it says. Let me look and see how many of those are not.
So that percentage is not high enough, huh?
Yeah, between the percentage and the price point, it seems like it's going to be too low. And I'll show you what that looks like. So if I take those 18, so out of the 18 that sold, there was a buy side and a sell side. So there was the potential of 36 transactions there. If I do a CMA and I use all those results, so that's all the properties, those 18 that sold, it'll come up and say, here's the 18 that sold. And it says the average price is 181. And that 3.26 million sold. If we got 10% of the sales in there, it's only 326,000. That's not worth the risk of $350 a month. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So what I might do is try something a little different. We can either search via MLS or we can search via these routes. So we might try to pick a route. We probably pick one closer. Your neighborhood is down here somewhere, I believe.
Mhm.
Like yours is right off of. Okay. So look at that. That's interesting. So like if I just hover over this, that's a nice route. It's 635 homes. It's $122. So let me look and see. This is like a big, perfect community. Like this would be the best of all worlds. If like what I would love right now, just to let you know, is if you lived in here.
Right.
That would be fantastic. Because we'd have 635 houses, and we could look at it. Let me undo it so I can see some of these street names. So let's go with Willow Winds Parkway. I'm just finding out what this subdivision is that has a perfect route that could be used for farming. What did I say? Willow Winds Parkway. I want to make sure it's not new construction. I want to see some things about it. It's Durban Crossing. It's definitely not new construction. So that's a good sign. Okay. Here, let me look at this as a list. I'm going to add subdivision to it. And all these are Durbin Crossing. Good. Okay, so I'm going to do a search. Okay, let's start from scratch. Try a new one is what we're doing. So sold in the past year. And then we're going to do subdivision. Durbin Crossing. So in the last year, 165 houses sold in Durbin Crossing. Now we're going to see how many houses there are in Durbin Crossing. Although I have a pretty good idea. So it gave me Durbin Crossing North and Durbin Crossing South and Durbin Crossing Townhomes. Wasn't expecting that. I'm gonna try this. Nope, it's not gonna work. All right, let's see what happens. Add all to list. I want to see how many there are in Durbin Crossing North, Durbin Crossing South, and Durbin Crossing Townhomes. It's 2,100. We don't want that. So I'm going to make a little adjustment.
Okay, I hear you.
Yep. Wonder what they're doing here. I'm looking to try to match this this up with that. I bet you this is Durbin Crossing South, because this is south of Longleaf Pine. Let me look and see what happens if I put, let me see. Yeah, see, this says North Durbin Parkway, and this says South Durbin Parkway. So essentially what, I guess it's this, 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 and this. Yeah, so that's all of Durbin Park. I don't know if we want that whole thing. You look at the cost. It is over 2,000 addresses, but this is like going way big time. Because just to print 2,200 postcards is $1,100, and then it's, you know, 428. You're talking $1,500. So we're going to ditch the north part of it. And we're just going to leave South Durbin Crossing because it's 635 homes. And it's $122. That makes more sense. Does that sound okay to you?
Yes.
So if I do that, I'm going to ditch north and I'm going to leave townhomes and see what it does. Because we might want to leave the townhomes. That lowered it to 1,277. Now let me go see what happens if I ditch the townhomes. $977. And then out of this 977, a bunch of these don't count, because you'll see stuff like these at the top. Right of way, it's actually owned by St. Johns County. It has an address, but it's not a house. Do you see what I mean? And that's the case for all of these. None of these are actually houses. So they would all go away. So I don't know if I love the plan as a whole. Like every time I have somebody do the that farm a neighborhood, it's because they live there or they want to live there. And when it's not the case, it doesn't always work as good. Do you see what I mean? Not to say that this, look here, can't work. Yeah, so I wonder if any of these, I'm going to look to see where the townhomes are. Suspect it's there. Yeah, see, we'd have to add those in. And now it's too much money, really. I mean, maybe it's not, and you want to spend $1,000 a month on this, but that seems sort of high. So I'm just thinking of whether, I mean, for 122, so here's how the math works on this. This is 635 houses. A postcard for each one of those is probably, let's just say it's going to be 50 cents. So 635. We can basically say times, and this is 50 cents, means that it would cost $317.50 to send a postcard to each of these 635 houses.
Okay.
And then you would add on this 121.92.
Okay, that's not bad.
And then you're at 439.42 a month.
What is your
Now,
opinion on that?
Yeah, so that's an estimate. I would just round it and say it's 450 a month, right? So let's say 450 times 12. That's the total for a year, would be 5,400. Now, what we would need to do, what you would need to do, is go in and find, and it won't be hard, sort of go right to left, write down all these street names.
Okay.
So like this one is Harbury. This one is Willow Winds Parkway. This one's Quail Creek Circle. This is Carden Place. This is, it's hard to read them sometimes. Earlston Way. Thornlow Drive, South Durban Parkway, Islebrook Parkway, Chatsworth Drive, whatever this says. I can't read it.
I think that's a Sterlingshire.
Yeah, I think so too. Berkswell. So everything that's here, you would look at. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So you would want all the names of all these properties or all those roads. And that will then, what you would do with that is you would go back to this property owners and you would do a search reset, sorry. You would do a search for each one of those street names. So for example, over here, let's say, here's a relatively small one, Ridge Harbor Way. So over here in St. Johns County, I would go find the street name and I would put Ridge, and you can see it fills it in for me. See Ridge Harbor Way?
Yes.
If I click on that and then click search, I know that there were 6 houses on Ridge Harbor Way, and these are the addresses.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean?
Right.
So then what you would do is you would export those. It shows you who the owner is, the owner's first name, the owner's address, city, state, zip code. It gives you the subdivision name if you choose it.
Okay.
It gives you the price the last time it sold. It gives you the parcel address, because the parcel address, if it's an owner that's out of state or lives in a different part of Jacksonville or Fruit Cove or North Florida, the parcel address will be different from the owner address. You see what I mean?
Say that one more time.
The parcel, if somebody, like if you owned a rental property, it's going to have your home address. But in reality, the parcel address will be different because it's the address of the property. So you can either have the address of the property, or you can have the address of the owner, or you can have both.
Okay.
Okay. So what happens here is when you hit export data, it'll put a little thing over here to the left where it says owner data file. If I click on that, it downloads in a Excel file. So if I click on it, this is the information for all the people that live on that road.
Okay.
So and all these are owner occupied. So if I look at them, the parcel address is the same as the owner address. See what I mean? It matches. That won't always be the case. So what you would need to do is go in and do each one of those streets. So let's just make the list of streets now to try to help you out.
Okay.
So starting way over here, the first street is Harbury, Harbury. There might only be one house or no house or 2 houses on there. It's a little one, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next one is Willow Winds Parkway. That one's big. It has tons of houses on it. The next one is Quail Creek. The next one is Carden Place.
Okay.
The next one is Earlston Way.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is Thornlow Drive.
Okay.
Here's something that's a little weird. So you see this little outcrop here? I don't have the name of that street, but I know there's houses there. So you might have to drive over there to find out what the name of that little street is. And that seems to be the case for this little one and that little one too. See on either side of Thornlow.
Okay.
So one of the things you'll need to do regardless is you'll need to know this neighborhood like the back of your hand.
Okay.
You'll need to know what the association fees are. You'll need to know if it has a CDD fee, an idea of what those are. You just sort of have to become the expert for that neighborhood.
Okay.
So the next one is, it says S Durban Parkway, so that's South Durban Parkway. There seems to be a few houses on there. We've got Chatsworth Drive, but if you look at it, there's another one of those little spurs off of there that this isn't giving me the name. Then you'll need, is this Islesbrook Parkway? ISI
Yep. Yes.
or ISLES Brook.
I'm Brooke. Yep.
And then we need this thing. That was the one I still have trouble reading. It's Stirlingshire Court. And then up here is Berkswell Drive. There's a west and an east. And then I can't, is that Ravenburg Way? This one?
I imagine with the numbers in the way,
Yeah.
that it's Ravensburg.
Yeah, I would check it, that when you drive to see the other one, see if it's there. This one says Heathrow Court. Then there's Charmed Place. Then there's Glen Laurel Drive. Then there's Ridge Harbor Way. Then there's Broad Branch Way. We're almost done. Then there's Ellsworth Court. And we already did Islebrook Parkway. So I think that's all the streets. So just remember, that's essentially, I'll back it up. That's essentially what you're looking at, is you're going to farm that area.
And what were you saying was the percentage of turnover there?
Yeah, so now what we need to find out, and that's the hard part of it, is what you would want to do. You have to do two things. One, you don't even really need to know necessarily the names of all the people that live there, but it's not a bad idea. So like over here, what you would do. So give me the first street name on the list we just created.
Harbury Drive. Yep,
See how it just shut up? So you would click that. That's over in my list here. You see it?
Yes.
What's the next one?
Willow Winds Parkway.
And see where it popped up? I'd click that. Oh, come on now. Let me do that again.
It's there. It showed up.
Yeah, it didn't. Oh, okay. It just took it a while to pop up over here. So what's the next street?
Quail Creek Circle.
There it is. What's the next one?
Carden Place.
What's the next one?
Earlston Way.
What's the next one?
Thornlow Drive.
And the next one?
South Durban Parkway.
Be interested to see what happens.
If you just put Durban.
Yeah. Let's try. Nope. See?
Okay.
Durban. So what'll happen on that one is you might have to go in there and look at the ones that have an S
Okay.
and delete the ones that don't. You see what I mean?
Right.
What's the next street?
Chatsworth Drive.
Okay.
Islesbrook Parkway.
We got it.
Stirlingshire Court. It's STIR. Yeah.
There it is. See how it makes sure you don't screw up?
Right.
What's the next one?
Here we go with directions again, so we'll see what happens. West Berkswell Drive.
Is it BE?
BERK.
Yeah, see that one, you'll have to do a
Right.
little digging.
Yeah, so we'll do that for west and east. I understand to just delete
Yeah, now if they're both on your side, you don't necessarily have to worry about it. In other words, if they're both in the South Durban area that we're looking for, the only reason we're messing around with Durban Parkway is there's the ones that are north of Durban Parkway that we don't want.
Okay.
If the ones with it, if Berkswell Drive, if everything Berkswell Drive is in the south part or south of, I think it's Longleaf there or Racetrack. I think it might be Racetrack. If it's all in there, you can just leave it. You won't even need to separate it out because it's going to pull the address for us. What's the next one?
Ravensburg. We think it's Ravensburg. We'll figure it out now.
Ravensbury. It's right here.
Oh, Ravensbury Way.
Yeah. And what's the next one?
Heath Road Court.
Is it Heath?
Yes, HEATH. Heath Row Court.
Right here. Yeah.
Charmed Place.
Okay.
Glen Laurel Drive.
Okay.
Ridge Harbor Way.
Oh. Spell. Okay.
Broad Branch Way.
Okay.
And Ellsworth Circle.
How's it spelled?
ELSW.
Huh. Let me go look back at our thing here.
Oh, it's two L's.
Ah, that's what it is.
Sorry.
No problem. And this thing works so good because it fact checks you. Any other ones?
That's it.
Okay. So when I do search here, we're hoping to see somewhere upper fives, lower sixes for number of properties. 577. So there's 577 houses there.
Okay.
But they're not necessarily houses. So here's where you'll need to make a few notes of things that you'll need to clean up. Anything, so we're going to download it. You're going to look for things that look like this, undefined use, utilities, railroad communication, undefined use, right away. anything that doesn't have a single family residential, you can delete. And then the other part that you'll end up doing, if you look at where right up here, the first, all these say Durban Parkway, North Durban Parkway. We want the ones that say North Durban Parkway.
Okay.
What we don't want, let's see if there are any. If I scroll down here, I want to make sure there's no South Durban, or actually, I don't want North Durban Parkway. I want South Durban Parkway. So you would get rid of all those because they have an N. Because they're North Durban Parkway is over here, and that's not part of our route. Okay?
Right. That's not included in that price.
Yeah, that's not on the Every Door Direct. So why? Yeah, so we want to get rid of those addresses. So what I'm going to do is save this. So I'm going to export it, and I'm going to send it to you. And then what you can do is get with, she's next door to me right now.
Meg.
You can get with Megan over there, and create your postcard, create your plan, all that stuff. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So you'll need to clean this up first, but just a second. Save as. Miss Amina, I gotta go find your folder. Agents. Amina. And this is. So what'll happen is if you have some success, if and when you have some success with this, if you start owning that neighborhood or that area, you might jump back over to North. Like if you're getting $7 to every $1 you spend, you want to find as many $1 as you can because it's clearly going to be working out for you. Okay, so that's that list. Now, the other part that you can do to check some things, and then you'll just want to show her this Every Door Direct too. She's probably seen it before, but if you just show that to her, that would be good. So what you would need to do then is probably go in, and this is going to be a pain in the butt, and on those streets, give me one of the longer streets that we had.
Was Willow Winds one of the longer ones?
Actually, Durban, right, was pretty long.
Yeah, it's got.
So if I do Durban, and it gives you the street direction, we want south, and I do sold, and I do the last year to today. Let's see how many houses sold there. So none sold on that street. What's another place there that seemed like it had a lot of houses on it?
I have to be honest with you, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you wouldn't remember. I shouldn't expect you to. Let me go with.
Want to try Ellsworth? That looks like a long street.
Is that Ellsworth?
Ellsworth.
Yeah.
Or Willow Winds Parkway. That looks like a long.
Willow Winds seems like a winner, doesn't it?
Yep, it came up for you.
I must have been helping somebody sometime, someplace with a CMA or something on that road. I got to edit it because I got to pick just sold, and I got to pick sold last. So sold in the last year, 9 sold on that street. So that's, you know, a pretty decent sign, right? That there's some turnover there. Because do we think there were 90 houses there? Well, we wouldn't want this one because it was a rental. So it would be that 8 sold in the last year. If there were 100 houses or less on that street, then, and I won't look it up, but if there were 100 houses or less on that street, it would mean that that there's a really good turnover rate there. I suspect your turnover rate there is absolutely fine in what we created here.
Okay, so I go through each street and look at their turnover rate.
Yeah, just go through each street. So what I would do, because we now know that there's about 550 houses, I would do each street by doing this, it'll say multiple address right here. So you could put each street name. So we could put Willow Winds. Give me another 2 or 3 streets that we have.
Okay. Quail Creek Circle.
And here's what I want you to do. Just put the street name like this. If you put too much information or misspell it, it'll mess you up. So L, is it E-L-L?
Yes,
E-S?
E-L-L-S.
Ellsworth.
Mm-hmm.
Give me another street.
Thornlow.
How about another one?
Chatsworth.
And another one?
Sterlingshire.
And another one?
Islesbrook. That's I-S-L-E-S.
And another one?
Ravensbury. Yeah, Ravensbury.
Yep. Another one?
Heathrow. Heathrow. Charmed Place. Glen Laurel. Ridge Harbor. Broad
Is
Branch.
Ridge Harbor 2 words?
Yes.
Is it B-O-R or B-O-U-R?
B-O-R.
Okay. Next one.
Broad Branch.
2 words, right?
I have to be honest with you, I do not remember.
I don't either. Here, let me look and see if I see it.
Looks like one word. Broad Branch Way. It's one word.
Okay. I wonder where's it at on here? Am I missing it?
Right next to Ellsworth Circle.
Oh, okay, there it is. Yep, I got you. And another one?
Ellsworth.
Oh, yep, I got that one up there. Any others?
Oh, we have that already. Okay. We have West and East Berkswell.
Okay.
Harbury.
What was that again?
Harbury. H-A-R-B-U-R-Y.
Okay, so I just used up my list. So this is most of it. Do we have very many other names?
That's it. That's the whole thing.
Oh, that's perfect. So what we want to do is sold in the last year. And what we would hope would that this number is 40 or better. But it might be, 50. So that tells us that we're probably in the right place, although this one's wrong. Chatsworth. So here, I need to edit. Well, I would have to look through here and make sure that these were legitimate.
So what is it that you saw that was wrong? You looked at it right away and said, oh, that's wrong.
Yeah, here's what it is. This price made me think that it was wrong. And then I saw the zip code and knew that it was wrong. And that makes me think that these three here that have 32068 are probably wrong there. Middleburg. And then we don't want the rentals.
Right, because this is definitely not Middleburg.
Yeah.
No,
This is going to be right. So I know that 13 is right, 14 is right. I know all these that say 32259. I know that they're all correct. So I would check every one that was 32259 that wasn't a rental. And if I do that, here's how I would do it. Let me see, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. So it's 45. So that's a really good turnover rate. Oh, and then I got to get rid of these rentals. So if you remember, I said, if we're around 40 or better, that's a good sign.
Okay.
And you could be less than that. Yeah, 38. So that's pretty good. And then if I take these 38, let me send a text real quick because I have an appointment that's about to start.
Okay.
And I have to let them know that I'm. Okay. Yeah. So if I took these 38 and I create a CMA with them, what it comes out to. So if you did 10% of this, it would be 1.7 million. It would cost us 5,400. So we would take that. Let's say that we got. Oops. Let's say that we got 10% of that. That would be let's just say 1,750. And then you multiply that by the average commission times 0.0275. That's the gross commission income. So you would take that number and then subtract what it costs for you to get there. And that's the money that you're on the right side of. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to take this. I don't know how soon I'll be able to do it. I'm going to cut our meeting now because I have my next one.
All right.
And then I'll post this to like YouTube so that you can look at it. I don't know if I'll be able to do that till tonight or tomorrow, but
Okay.
just know that I'll post it so you can review it.
Okay, just let me know when it's up.
Okay, sounds
Thank
good.
you. Thank you
No
so much.
problem. Have a great day. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.